join together in prayer. Our Father which art in heaven, we come before you tonight, Father, thanking you for a beautiful day that we've been able to enjoy. For you see your creation all around us, God, and we're so grateful for it and how you blessed us in so many ways. And tonight, Father, as we gather as a body to discuss affairs of this city, Father, we're thankful for this opportunity, Father, to meet in public, to have open discussion, to think about democracy and how it works. And we're thankful for the freedoms we have in this great country that we call America and we call home, Father. We're grateful for how you've blessed us in so many ways. And Father, help us to act with responsibility about democracy, that we enjoy the freedoms, but we know that there are great responsibilities with it. And tonight, Father, we celebrate this day our first responders for all the efforts they make and service they provide and risks they take. And Father, we're grateful for them. We ask, God, that you'll continue to watch over our first responders in this community and all of our staff of this city, and help our citizens, Father, to respond in ways that we can live in harmony with each other. And above all, Father, we glorify you, not only tonight, but all that we have. And through Christ we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Be seated. I will ask Clerk Simmons to call the roll.
Bennell.
Present.
Gaunt.
Yes, ma'am.
Kirkpatrick.
Yes, ma'am.
Lowry. Here. Marion.
Here.
Neal.
Here.
Norris.
Here.
Trigg.
Here.
Witcher.
All right, 100% attendance. Thank you all for being here. The next item of business is to approve the agenda whereby we're going to operate from tonight. So I will entertain a motion that we approve the agenda as you received in your packet back on Thursday.
Motion, Lowry.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Bennell.
Okay, all right. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the agenda? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We will proceed with the agenda as it was sent to you on Thursday. And the first item of business is to approve the minutes of our October the 14th meeting. I would entertain a motion that we approve those.
Motion.
Okay, that sounded like Marion was first and Kirkpatrick was second. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the minutes as they were presented to you? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved and will be entered into the record of the city of Glasgow. We thought we would start off tonight with some information. We've asked our Barron County Court Clerk, Helena Chase Birdwell, to come forward because Election Day is right around the corner, and each year the elections change, a few procedures change, and so we thought we'd get the person that knows all about it. So thank you, Helena, for being with us tonight, and give us the update, okay?
All right, thank you so much, Mayor. Mayor talked with me just briefly last week and asked if I could come, and I was like, absolutely. I'm super excited. He's like, make it short. And I'm like, oh, Lord, that's hard on me. But I'm super excited to be here for the opportunity anytime to let our citizens of Barron County know about the elections and the process. We currently do still have the early excused voting going on over at the clerk's office. That started last Wednesday, the 23rd, and it will end this Wednesday, the 30th. But what folks here in Barron County really love, and all across the state, it's not just here in Barron County, but thanks to our legislators, we have early, no excuse voting starting this Thursday. That's the 31st, so put on your Halloween costume and come out to the UK Extension Service Center and vote with us this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, happy, 8 to 4:30, all 3 days. So no excuse. You don't have to have a reason. Just I want to get out and vote and do it early on my time. So 8 to 4:30, all 3 days. That includes Saturday. And then, of course, on November the 5th, 6 a.m., the polls open, and as long as you're in line by 6 p.m., at any one of our 9 vote centers across the county, you're going to be able to vote. We've already had a great turnout with absentee ballot requests by mail. We had over 1,000 of those issued. Folks are still sending those back in. You have plenty of time. You actually have until 6 p.m. election night. That'll be the final hour that we'll check that ballot box that's out in the front lobby there at the county clerk's office. Any ballots that are received by mail after Tuesday at 6 p.m., then of course those wouldn't be eligible to be counted. But anything that we receive in our hands by 6 p.m. Will be looked at and counted. We've had, oh my goodness, let's see. At the end of the Friday, we had over 203 individuals had to come in and vote at early excuse, which is a restricted time. So that's a lot of voters that are meeting that criteria. We probably had almost 80, if not over 80, that came in today and voted in person today alone. So we're having a great turnout, and I'm super excited. I guarantee you in those 3 days we'll have at least 7,000 people out at the Extension Service Center voting. So we're excited about it. Just really quick, if you don't know our 9 locations across the county, you can go to any one of these locations on Tuesday, Election Day again. That's Barron County High School Gym, Cave Area Conference Center, which is also known as the Cave City Convention Center in my mind, Austin Tracy Volunteer Fire Department, Haywood Volunteer Fire Department, Highsville Elementary School in the gym, Park City Lions Club, Temple Hill Elementary School in the cafeteria, Beckton Community Center, and Glasgow Middle School. That is right here in the city limits, and lots of folks are utilizing Glasgow Middle School on Election Day. So please make sure that you get out and vote. If you don't know if you're registered to vote, give us a call over at the county clerk's office, and we're happy to look that information up for you. If you would like a sample ballot, that's exactly what it's going to look like for you. Please come by the office and let us look that up and get you that sample ballot. You can take that with you to the polls if you need, if you want something to reference, you can get a sample ballot and take it with you. These ballots are long, y'all. They're front and back, so make sure that you take a look at the back side of the ballot. You want to vote both sides, Joe, okay? Make sure. And make sure that you know, I don't know if you have heard or not, you should have heard by now, there are 2 constitutional amendments on this ballot, yes or no, for Constitutional Amendment 1 and 2, so make sure you take a look at those and know how you want to vote, so you're not standing there trying to read all that when you get to the polling booth, okay?
All right.
Any questions for me? Good luck to y'all that are on the ballot this year. I'm excited for you. I love this season, especially when it turns out in your favor.
Yep. That's right. That's the best way, isn't it?
No.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
Elena, for coming over here. And I know that everybody gets excited, but it's important because there have been, over the last several years, a few changes about locations and the early voting and all that.
Definitely since 2020, we have had so many changes. But I think right now we're kind of hopefully settled into the routine. I think folks in Barron County really like the vote center concept where you can go, no matter, if you live in Glasgow, but you just think it might be busy over at the middle school and you want to drive up to Highsville, to the gym there, that's your right. You can go wherever you want to go. If you want to vote early during those 3 days because you're worried about lines on Election Day, come vote with us early. I'll be out there at the Extension office. And don't let that line scare you. We always have a line at the Extension office because it's really popular, but 15 minutes is the most I've ever had anyone told me that they were in line at the Extension office to vote.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks
for doing a great job, Elena.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here and taking the time to explain that for sure. I want to insert this into the agenda because Terry mentioned this in his invocation, but today is First Responders Day, and we've been talking a whole lot about that. And in our safety committee meeting before we convened, Fire Chief Lucas Tinsley, I didn't tell you we were going to do this, okay, so don't let me scare you, but he had a big win with our first responders in a fire call that they got yesterday, and you said you wanted to brag on your first responders. So will you come up here and brag? Chief Lucas Tinsley from the Glasgow Fire Department?
Absolutely. My guys last night, they responded to a house fire over off Bob White, and they made a save. There was still a person trapped inside the apartment, and my crews were able to get him out and extinguish the fire in a very efficient manner. I don't have any update on the individuals they brought out after he left TJ last night by chopper. but I will follow up with that and keep you all in the loop.
So that's wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Excellent job.
Quite the celebration for first responders day. And I think you were saying in the other meeting they were pumped up. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, it's a big win.
One of those things you talk about a lot, and they really stepped up when it was time.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing that here on this First
Absolutely.
Responders Day, Chief. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some updates on some of the projects that we have going on here in the city. I'm going to ask our Director of the Department of Public Works, Jim McGowan, to come to the podium. We have so many big projects going on that sometimes we just have to stop. Jim's the guy that understands all of it, and he's going to break it down for us tonight. Jim?
Yeah, one of the first update I want to give is on Gordon Park, our Richardson Stadium. We actually started on the footers on that site prep back in early June, shortly after ball season went out. But basically what we've done out there, we've got the masonry completed, footers are also completed, the masonry's completed. We have the interior ceilings are actually installed in the facility. That's the concession stands and press box area, and both of them has bathrooms behind it. Utility rough ends are plumbing and electric are all complete, and electrical and plumbing fixtures are actually being installed this week, and I'd say it'd probably take a couple of weeks to get those all finished up. But the bleacher pads are ordered and ready for installation. Shed canopies are actually scheduled to be installed this week, weather pending. I know they're supposed to be here Thursday, but Thursday's kind of looking bad for the weather. First time in 2 months. Yeah. But anyway, we've got shortly after that the concrete flat work, between the breezeway and the bleacher pads and the sidewalk that actually leads up to it will be finished shortly after that. But we are getting into the wet season, and I'm sure there'll be some delays on all that, but that's all going really good right now. Gordon Park is. So I want to move on to Legion Park. Legion Park, we just started it a while back. The entire site's been graded. We've got stockpiles of topsoil on site. Storm drains will be finished this month, and well, actually that's the end of this week. But transformer pads have been installed, ready to get the transformer ordered for that. The pickleball courts are subgraded. They've got a rock base on them. All the storm drains will be finished in the next 2 weeks. The building pad for the pool house is to subgrade. They're anxious to get started on the footers for it right now. The pool should be starting the first week of November, which will be next week. Should be starting by then, weather permitting. There is a retaining wall for the parking lot that'll begin in early November as well. So that's pretty much where we're at on it. And hopefully weather permitting, they can move on with it as well. So.
Okay.
The other update I want to give was on the Johnson property acquisition that we're looking at acquiring. We had QK4 and engineering firm. We engaged those that engineering firm at the end of August to do a due diligence report for a 160-acre tract of property known as the Johnson property, as everybody knows. The due diligence that we're doing on this includes a boundary and alta survey, which should be done at the end of this week, first of next week. We're doing a environmental analysis on the site as well, and that involves a phase 1 ESA, which is a environmental site assessment, and it's typical of a project like this when you have government funds involved. We're doing a geotechnical site exploration on it, and we actually got it finished. Field work was done a couple of weeks ago on it, and the preliminary discussions that we've had, everything's looking good on it. There's rock anywhere from 6 to 20 foot deep, which that's a good thing. We don't want to be buying a rock pile, you know. Also, we're doing with this due diligence. There is a review of the wetlands and threatened and endangered species, and that's the typical nature of this type of project as well. That has to be looked at, but there's also the general conditions will be looked at on the side. Is like, you know, do we have utilities available? But we actually touch 3 different streets out here. I mean, we've got all kinds of utilities and stuff, but that's going to be part of the due diligence report that we'll be receiving. But other than that, we should be getting some information on that at the end of this week or the beginning of next week, and probably signing a contract on it pretty soon. So,
All right.
has anybody got any questions or anything?
Any questions? Jim's got all the answers.
Eating at you?
Jim, have we run into any problems with the American Legion as far as, you know, the earthwork or, you know?
No, we actually had a meeting on it last week, progress meeting. Everything's tracking well on it. They haven't come up with any issues with any grading or anything like that. They did discuss a few issues about some of the utilities that they need to put in. It's, you know, they all get that worked out pretty soon though.
And our completion date on that is midsummer, late summer?
Yeah, midsummer around, well, first week of July right now. But like I said, on the other projects, we've got the wet season coming, and there's a possibility for delays. With, you know, we've seen 6 to 8 weeks of dry weather. We can also see 6 to 8 weeks of wet weather.
Thank you.
Something to look forward to.
The new sidewalk on North Green looks good.
Thank you. Just finished it up 2 weeks ago.
Neighbors are really happy about that, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Jim, thank you for your update. We'll certainly look forward to, as we progress, to get more updates, and it's good to kind of know what direction we're going.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. We've got some old business to bring forward. Rich, if you would like to start the municipal orders.
First municipal order is an order appointing Sue Furlong to the Glasgow-Barron County Animal Control Board as the city resident representative. She will fulfill the unexpired term of Julie Atkins. This appointment is 2-year term expiring August 31, 2026.
You've heard the second reading of this municipal order appointing Sue Furlong to the Glasgow-Barron County Animal Control Board. I'll entertain a motion that we approve this second reading.
Motion, Lowry.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The municipal order is passed.
Next item is the second municipal order. This reappoints Jerry Botts to the Water and Sewer Commission. It's a 3-year term expiring October 31, 2027.
You've heard the second reading of this particular municipal ordinance reappointing Jerry Botts to the Water and Sewer Commission. I entertain a motion that we approve this second.
Motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all right. We have Ms. Kirkpatrick and Mr. Marion with a first and a second. Is there any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The municipal order passes. New business.
Next 3 items are first readings of zoning ordinance. I'll begin with the first reading of property located at 106 Firethorn Street. At the end of Firethorn Street, approximately 620 feet south from the Autumn Ridge Road and Firethorn Street intersection. It appearing that Zach and Jennifer Fisher and Jason and Michelle Lynch are the owners and applicants, and that they've requested a zoning change for the property located at 106 Firethorn Street. The property being rezoned contains 6.99 acres in Glasgow. The request is from the agricultural district to an R1 low-density residential district. The drawing of the property subject to rezoning is attached as Exhibit A. A trial-type due process hearing was conducted by the Planning and Zoning Commission on September 16th, and the recommendation was unanimous that the property be rezoned from the agricultural district to the R1 Low Density Residential District. Copies of the findings and recommendations of the commission have been forwarded to the council and are hereby adopted by the council and attached as Exhibit B. Now therefore be it hereby ordained by the city as follows. Section 1, the findings and recommendations of the Planning and Zoning Commission, which are attached as Exhibit B, are hereby approved in all respects. Section 2, the zoning for the property located at 106 Firethorn Street, containing 6.99 acres in Glasgow, is hereby changed from agricultural to R1 Low Density Residential District. Again, the property covered by this ordinance is attached as Exhibit A. Section 3, all future development of this property shall comply with the requirements of the Development Plan Ordinance adopted by the Council on December 30, 1991. This ordinance shall take effect upon its passage and publication according to law.
All right, you've heard the first reading of this particular ordinance. I would entertain a motion that we approve it on first reading.
Motion, Benel.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this first reading of this ordinance? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ordinance is approved on first reading.
The next ordinance is related to the rezoning of property at 850 North L. Rogers Wells Boulevard in Glasgow. It appearing that the applicant GBC Design, for and on behalf of Splash Car Wash, Inc., owner, has requested a zoning change for the property located at 850 North L. Rogers Wells Boulevard, containing 2.47 acres more or less, from I-1 Light Industrial District to B2 General Business District. A drawing of the property subject to rezoning is attached as Exhibit A. A trial-type due process hearing concerning the proposed zoning change was held by the Planning and Zoning Commission, on September 16th of this year, resulting in a unanimous recommendation that the property be rezoned from I-1 to a B2 district. Copies of the findings and recommendations of the Commission have been forwarded to the Council. Those are attached to this ordinance as Exhibit B. Now therefore be it hereby ordained by the city as follows. Section 1, the findings and recommendations of the Planning and Zoning Commission are approved in all respects. Section 2, the property located at 850 NL Rogers Wells Boulevard, containing 2.47 acres, shall be rezoned from I-1 to a B2 district. The property being covered by this ordinance is attached as Exhibit A. 3, all future development of this property shall comply with the requirements of the Development Plan Ordinance adopted by the Council on December 30, 1991. And further, with respect to this particular rezoning, all future development of this property shall comply with the following specific binding elements approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. A, the property along and parallel to the south side of Magnolia Drive is to remain residential. B, the signage requirements shall remain either non-illuminated or on a dimmer switch after dark. Subsection C, any proposed wall or parking lot lighting to be shoebox style and shine downward. Subsection D, an entrance from this development is to occur onto no entrance from this development is to occur onto Magnolia Drive. Section 4, this ordinance shall take effect upon its passage and publication according to law.
You've heard first reading of this ordinance rezoning this property at the end of Oakleaf Street. I will entertain a motion that we approve this on the first reading.
Motion,
Actually, it's 850 Rogers Wells.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was
The next one.
I got ahead of myself. Okay.
Yep.
This is on Rogers Road that we're approving, right? Now,
No.
I got a motion.
Motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, from Councilman Neal. Is there any discussion on this one?
Mayor, I have one question for Kevin. Kevin, on the binding elements of this will apply all during the construction phase as well, not just when the site's finished, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
Construction's going to be in and off of
30.
L. Rogers Wells?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And lighting, same way at night time, no construction work at night, et cetera?
Well, we don't have a binding element about no construction work, but the lighting and stuff will still be applied. So there's no binding element with regards to the development
Okay.
phasing. Typically, it's not done at night, though.
Okay.
It's pretty rare.
Just want to make sure the residents are protected
Yes, sir.
from the day we put the show on the ground to
Sure.
opening day. Okay.
Sir.
Thank you.
Further discussion? All right, we have a motion and a second. I will call the question. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The first reading of this ordinance has been approved.
This is the final ordinance regarding rezoning. It's regarding the property at the end of Oakleaf Street, again, in or around the Oaks of Autumn Ridge subdivision. It appearing that Zach and Jennifer Fisher, the owners and applicants, have requested a zoning change for a property located at the end of Oakleaf Street, containing approximately 565 feet from the Autumn Ridge Road and the Oakleaf Street intersection, which contains 3.13 acres more or less. The request is from the agricultural district to an R1 low-density residential district. The property covered by this ordinance is described on Exhibit A. Again, a trial-type due process hearing was conducted by the Planning and Zoning Commission on September 16th, which resulted in a unanimous recommendation by the Commission that the property be rezoned from agricultural to low-density residential district. Copies of the findings and recommendations of the Commission have been forwarded to the Council. Those are attached as Exhibit B. Be it therefore ordained by the City as follows. Section 1, the findings and recommendations of the Commission are approved in all respects. 2, the property is rezoned from agricultural district to R1 district, property covered by this ordinance being described on Exhibit A. Section 3, all future development of this property shall comply with the development plan ordinance adopted by the Council on December 30, 1991. Section 4, this ordinance shall take effect upon its passage and publication according to law.
Thank you, Rich. That is the Oakleaf Street addition, and Kevin, y'all did a good job with all of the documentation on that. You've been able to see it in the package, and so I will entertain a motion that we pass this ordinance on first reading.
Motion.
From Councilman Marion. Is there a second?
Second, Norris.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Like sign. The ordinance is passed on first reading.
Next item is a resolution approving amended and restated interlocal agreement for the Baron Metcalf Emergency Communications Center. Be it hereby resolved by the City of Glasgow that the amended and restated interlocal agreement for Baron Metcalf Emergency Communications Center, a copy of which is attached hereto, shall be and hereby is approved in all respects. Be it further resolved by that Mayor Royce be authorized and directed to execute the agreement on behalf of the City of Glasgow.
All right, you all have received the restated interlocal agreement in your package. You've had a chance to look over it, and I will entertain a motion that we approve this resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have Norris as the making the first, and Councilman Neal's making the second. All right, and at this point, we can open it up for discussion. We have a motion and a second.
Mayor, I'd like.
Go ahead.
Am I going?
Yeah.
I'd like for Judge Executive Jamie Bird to come up and answer some questions, please.
Judge Byrd is the chairman of the 911 committee that's been deeply involved in renegotiating this agreement, so she'll have all the answers.
Yes, yeah, I'm here. Thank you all for having me. I'm here to answer any questions.
Thanks for coming, Judge Byrd. As I sit on this board as well, this has been a long time coming, and we've made a lot of headway with this. And the only thing that I'm seeing is, and you can explain, Judge Byrd, is in the agreement, there's not a penalty if someone purchased something and isn't able to pay for it, or if Barron or Metcalf doesn't or isn't able to fund their percentage. So maybe you can just speak on that.
So honestly, the current agreement that we're operating in right now doesn't have those options either. There's not a penalty if someone doesn't pay, or either county. There's nothing in the current one. So where we're at right now is we have the current agreement and the interlocal agreement. If we get one person to not agree to the change, then we can't do anything. So this has been, I've been working with the City of Edmonton and Metcalf County as to we've proposed things, just like what you're talking about. We've proposed ideas of merging, we've proposed all these other things. What we finally got them to agree to, thanks to Mr. Rich Alexander and Mr. Brian Pack working together, was the three things, definitely the three, were the opening up the lines of fee collections. Right now, everything is based upon the landline, which I don't know how many of you also have a landline, and that is just not paying the bill anymore. We still are paying the bill, it's just not paying what it needs to pay. And they're having to put more of your general funds, et cetera, into that. City's helping out a lot on that. And 911 is functioning, and we're not like we're not losing money right now, but they're not getting enough money in to handle the operations right now. So it opens up the fee collections, which will also help out Barron and Metcalf. Metcalf is the same boat we're in. They're only getting the fees in from the landline. The other thing that it opens up is the situation where it deems actually what each party is, like the debt. Right now, in the current agreement, we have no definition at all as to who's responsible for what debt. And so this actually determines that it's based upon population. So Metcalf County's population currently is 19%, so they would be responsible for 19% of the cost of the operations of 911, and Barron County would be responsible for the other 81%. And also what's included in the agreement that we got them to agree to is based on audit. Audit is a big deal because, we're able to prove exactly what was spent, no speculations, it's plain as day, this is what we spent, Barron County is responsible for this is the amount that was brought in, this is the difference that you owe, easy to understand. Mayor can attest to this. He is, they've been kind of trying to figure out how do we deal with the bill collections, how do we determine on who owes what. That was another thing that we did get Metcalf County to agree to. The last thing that they agreed that they wanted to add into there was that anything over $100,000 one-time purchase would be approved by the interlocal board, which the interlocal board consists of the 2 county judges and then the 4 mayors from each, total 3 from Barron and the 1 from Edmonton, would have to agree to that to move forward with any purchase over $100,000 one time. But that's it. That's what we got basically agreed to. And those 4 items, I feel like, is a step. It's not the perfect, thing that everybody would want, but it's a step, and it's more than it's been moved in a long time. It's not just been in the last 2 years I've been here. I know they've been trying to get this done. The mayor and I have even personally went over there to have, we've met with the city, we've met with the mayor, we've met with the county judge. This is huge, honestly, the fact that we've gotten this far.
Closest we've ever been.
Ever. And so I will tell you this too, with council members, is all 3 of Edmonton's already signed, Cave City has already signed, Park City signed, Barron County has already passed, so you are the last one on the list to sign, not due to any other reason other than just timing. But once this is done, this will be monumental that we actually have moved forward in this discussion with Metcalf County. And honestly, our relationships with Metcalf County right now are really good, and I feel like it's going to get better. So,
Jamie, just a couple of questions that I have on this new document. When you talk about the 81% and the 19%, the way I understand it is, we get revenue in from the landlines right now. And if we had this is very simple to me. If we had $100 of revenue and $90 of expense being computers, data line, right? So we have a $10 profit in this. So Barron County doesn't pay in anything, and Metcalf doesn't pay anything on the operation. Is that correct? In that example.
I think you lost me a little bit in the $100, but basically we're just opening up the fee collections to determine. So example, if Barron, so I'll give you an audit year. There was an audit of year of $347,300.
If we could, I don't mind to cut you off, but I want to keep it simple so we all understand it. Okay. So if there is money in excess of revenue. Excess of revenue.
Okay.
The 81% and the 19% does not enter in.
No.
Okay.
Right.
So understand that that's on the operation. That's paying for buying computers or any other expense operating the 2 centers. the one here in Glasgow and the one
And
in Edmonton.
Correct, yes.
And all the money comes in to the 911 center here.
Everything
correct.
comes to the operating board, yes.
Okay. Now, on the personnel side, that's in this document, the city of Glasgow pays for all of the Glasgow employees, correct?
All the employees here based at the Barron County Center are City of Glasgow employees, yes.
And all the employees in Edmonton are paid for by Edmonton and Metcalf, correct?
They split that. Mhm.
Okay. So everybody be aware that this has come up before, and I always wanted the city of Glasgow to pay our fair share based on the call volume. But right now, we're paying all
You are, yes.
of the expense of the personnel at this center here in Glasgow. We're not paying it like Metcalf and Edmonton's doing it. In our budget, these are our budget numbers. We have budgeted $1.3 million in this fiscal year. Last year, we spent $1.1 million out of our budget to cover all the personnel costs serving Barron County. That's Glasgow, Cave City, Park City, and in the county.
Correct.
So when we talk about the 81 and 19%, that's just dealing with the operation. If there was a deficit, that's how it would be split.
Well, basically, so if you factor in all of your all's the payroll of the 911 center here, the payroll of the 911 center there that they function, and then all the operations all together, it still ends up being about the same percent. But if you're talking about just the Barron County portion, the 81% of Barron County, it would be basically, we're paying a little bit more, but I'm telling you, when you add all the numbers up, it's not as far off as I would rather do like a presentation on that part of it. But going back to the portion that the city does pay, the city pays, of course, more. That's kind of something the city's always taken on. The fee collection, if the fee collection was moved, which we will have the opportunity to move that, and those discussions will have to start after this is signed, but the landline is just not cutting it. And that's what happened, before, is that the county, the way the county would pay that portion is from those fees that came in from the landline, and then now it's landline and cell phone. You don't get the full amount. The state gets a majority of the cell phone fee for 911, but we get, it's called, Beverly can attest to that, it's PSAP, I think. But yeah, I agree. The city of Glasgow pays a large portion of the 911 Barron County portion.
Right. Was that looked at from the paying of the personnel to make that fair or distribution of that?
Well, we did all the numbers. Remember, we did all the numbers with personnel included. The payroll, I think, of Metcalf County was I think they pay around $175,000, $180,000 there. That's what they actually put into their center, and they split that between the county and city. Then on top of that, they have funds through their, like I said, the landline, and then the PSAP that comes to our center. Barron County, the amount of money that comes through the landline comes through our office, and we give to the 911, and the PSAP goes directly to that.
Right.
That's all that the county does right now, and then the rest is paid for through the
Terry, I
city.
think what you're asking is, and I do think that this is further along than we've ever had it, and I think we need to, but then I think we need to work Glasgow, Barron County. We can figure it out ourselves.
Yeah.
Who owes what, because I think where you're going down is Glasgow's paid the lion's share. That should not be, but let's at least get Metcalf County and then fiscal court. And
Well, sorry to interrupt, but to give you some background is, also the city has always that's been something the city has wanted to do, because you want these employees to continue to be city employees, and that's kind of something the city has always wanted to do. And I've learned a lot in these 2 years, kind of what the city does, what the county does, we kind of work together on certain things, we've got, Barron County's got the jail, you all help majority of the 911, then we also do some other things, economic development, so yes, I get it, the city does pay the large portion, but there's a reason for that. I do believe from a history of this, it's because they wanted these employees to be city employees.
Well,
Yes.
this is my concern. You're correct, Councilman Gons. But, if we say 70% of the calls are Glasgow, if we do,
Yeah.
then I run some numbers on that, and we'd have almost a $400,000 savings to our annual budget. Okay, if you took the number that we budgeted from it and said, okay, 70% of that is ours, we take that number away from what we budgeted, and it's about $300,000 savings to the city. And to me, that's a large number. What I come back to this is a movement forward, and I appreciate the work that's been done to it. It has. That you and others and the staff of the 911 Center have done a great job, but we got to keep this moving to make it fair for everyone else involved, especially the residents in Glasgow. The residents of Glasgow are paying the load of this.
Well,
So
and
that's
also
my
too, I mean,
problem.
I know this doesn't, sorry, I know it doesn't help, but, kind of the same situation with the jail. I would say 80% of our, inmates are coming from the city of Glasgow. We invoice Metcalfe County every day for their inmates coming in per day, and it's $45 a day. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the jail costs Barron County, I think, $1.5 million with the bond. Do you see what I'm getting at? So that's a rationalization. I think I've kind of looked at it with the mayor a little bit on, and I even offered up for the county, listen, when we can move this line and this fee to another form of income, it's a different game in regards to what can be generated for 911.
In my opinion, we get this done and move forward, then we need to sit down with the jail, because I don't know how much city money gets into the county and how much county money gets into the...
No, that's what I'm saying, there's not, yeah.
What I understand, or what I've understood, is you and Henry are having great relationships.
Yeah.
And after we get this moved forward, Metcalfe, Terry, it'd be my recommendation that we sit down, because we are paying an unfair amount on this. I don't know for something that they're paying an unfair amount, but I think it's time to fix it after all these years.
And also in this document, it refers on page 3 of the document to talk about, the fees that the entities could levy a special tax.
Well, we can't do that right until this document. Right now, it's,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, so we're the last party to sign off on this document.
yes.
Okay. So it says each member shall be authorized to fund his portion as set forth herein. Okay, so I'm assuming that's referring to us paying all the personnel costs here in Glasgow, Metcalfe and Edmonton paying their personnel costs.
Correct.
And if there's any operational loss, I'm going to term it like that, then there's 81 and 19%.
Right,
Okay?
yeah, based upon, what's coming in right now with the fee collections.
Okay. Okay, so the city of Glasgow, if nothing happens with the funding source, then our $1.3 million, we could levy a tax on every water bill in the city of Glasgow. Is that what that's saying?
I mean, basically what's going on right now, and I'm not saying that would even be the amount that would be generated, no. But you would move the fee, I would move it definitely from the landline to an either option, which would be water tax. I mean, we'd have to figure out those numbers. But it's not going to happen tomorrow.
But just the way that I read this, and we have legal counsel here, then could Edmonton have a certain assessment for their portion of paying 911, and Barron have their portion, their tax could be totally different, and Glasgow could have a totally different scheme.
Right.
As long as we meet the 81%,
Yeah, it doesn't
they
matter.
meet the 19.
It does not matter.
Doesn't matter. But the 81% is
81,
us and Barron County, not just Glasgow.
Yeah,
Right.
it's Barron County.
What percentage
yes.
is Glasgow versus Barron in the 81?
I've got all these numbers in my phone. Let's see, we've done
County's
these
about
numbers.
46%, city's about 16,
About
Or
20%?
something like.
It is,
But if there was an increase on anything, wherever they put it at, it would go for Barron County and Glasgow. You know what I mean?
right, so basically, whatever fee it would be moved to, it would be collected by the county, and then the county would pay that towards the operations of 911 and a reimbursement towards the salaries. That's how it would be.
But
Yes.
What does the citizens of Glasgow pay? What does the county?
Well, the county doesn't pay,
They didn't pay
aside
anything
from
right
just
now.
the landline.
Oh, 81%?
No, you pay for the
Personnel.
personnel. You
We
pay-
only pay
No, you don't pay the full
81% if
81,
there is
no.
an operating loss.
It's, I was gonna say, it's not an operating loss,
Not
no.
loss, but our budget.
You're paying the,
Yeah.
right.
Of the 1.3.
So what
We're
are we paying now?
81%, they're 19% of 1.3.
Of 1.3 what?
Okay,
million.
populations.
The budget.
Like the city of Glasgow is around 27%,
Our personnel
basically.
costs 1.3 million
Yeah.
to 911. That's what we're paying in on our budget, is 1.3 million for the personnel costs.
You're saying, Max, you're saying we're responsible for 81% of that. We've already budgeted 1.3 million is what Terry is saying.
Yeah. No, the city does, yeah,
Yes, that's correct.
yes.
I
That's
need,
all of the personnel costs.
for the purposes of being accurate, before we get too deep in it right here,
Yeah.
the city, we do not pay the salary of the Assistant 911 Director, which is April Dunbar, and we do not pay the salary of the Administrative Assistant, Nick Cotton.
Right.
Those two salaries are paid out of the 911 Governing Board.
Mayor, you do pay 20% of that position of the 911 assistant director.
Okay, all right.
You pay 20% of that, sir.
I mean, there's different opinions on this. If you just, there's county opinions that, if the county pays the majority of it, the county becomes over 911. And, there's a lot more to this than just, you know what I'm saying? And I think there's this fine line that we just need to sit down and figure out the numbers as to what works, to where we don't feel like the city is, taking on this role. I mean, I've never wanted the city to take this on themselves. But I will say.
But Judge, what I'm hearing you say is, let's get this moved down,
Yeah.
and then we'll all sit down and come up with what's fair, because what's fair right now, Terry, I don't think it's fair to the citizens of Glasgow. But we need to move this forward, and then your commitment and Henry's commitment is, we'll come up with something that's fair between Barron County and Glasgow.
Did you say earlier that you've been operating with a deficit of?
No. The budget, I think, last year, on paper, it made it look like we had to pull from our savings, but in the budget was set for 600,000, but we only spent, it was like 357,000 was the audited budget at one. This, I'd have to, like I said, I'm trying to pull these numbers. I was just here to answer the agreement part.
So Jamie, does the audit, let's say that Metcalf's 19% is 100 grand, and they actually cost 150 grand. So when that's audited, do they come back and level the audit?
The way it's supposed to be set up now is we would say, okay, let's just say they brought in, I don't know, $100,000 in their fee collections and their PSAP, and then they would have to figure out the difference that they didn't pay. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying? So like, you're going to collect these fees through another mean to reimburse, just like we already do with the landlines and stuff. That's the plan. Well, at least we know now that what their actual portion is. Right now, they don't have anything. I mean, there's really nothing that's in writing right now that says what they even owe.
Well,
Judge
and
Bird, is
probably,
it your recommendation that we pass this resolution as amended and you all work on it, and if something changes, you
Yes.
bring it back?
But my recommendation, yes, is that we pass this so that we can address the issues that's been brought up.
I call the
Because
question.
until it is passed, we cannot. So,
And
I call the question.
Okay. All right. I would like to hear from our 911 operating director. I'd like to hear from Beverly. Thank you, Judge. Beverly?
Yes, sir.
Could you answer a few questions? Beverly, my questions to you would be, you've worked with this for a number of years now, and you see this document that's being produced. Tell me your thoughts on this document. Are we moving in the right direction? Do you have concerns? I mean, you are contact. You are a city employee. We're paying you and the staff.
correct.
So let's hear from our staff.
Well, I think it's a move forward. We've got to do something because we have to change our funding mechanism. We're way behind here. We're probably 10 years behind. Landlines have dropped drastically. So we've got to do something, and we can't do anything to that until you all pass this. No, I don't totally agree with this interlocal agreement 100%. I I think the audit shows the report of what we spend on Barron and Metcalfe County together as a whole. It doesn't show you Barron spent this much, Metcalfe spent this much. At some point, and I talked about this in our safety committee meeting tonight, you all are going to have to look at that and address that to make sure that we aren't paying for Metcalfe County's portion. You know, we looked at call volume, we've looked at population. There's a lot of different ways you can look at it, but I just want these council members to realize that this is not something you need to put on the back burner. To approve this tonight, to move forward, to get our funding changed, but you guys need to revisit this again and make sure that we're getting what we're paying for the citizens of Barron County and Glasgow.
Waverly, back to my question, do you feel like that there should be something in this agreement as far as a penalty if someone isn't able to, pay their part, that what can happen? Because the way it looks like right now is if someone doesn't pay and then we terminate, then we lose all of our money in our Barrett account and equipment and everything.
I think Max did in the one section that it actually has changed that where it doesn't go directly back. Rich, can you elaborate on that as far as?
Go to the termination.
I'll make a motion to call the question.
Okay, we have a motion to call the question. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Let's take it to a vote. All in favor of approving this interlocal agreement indicate by saying aye.
I'm sorry, you got a motion to suspend.
Suspend the discussion. Okay, all right.
Now we need to vote.
Okay, now we have a motion to suspend the discussion. Let's indicate all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, of suspending the discussion.
I don't think she got done.
No. All right, we got a motion and a second to suspend the discussion.
The discussion so that we can move forward. In other words, the motion is that we've had enough discussion, let's vote on it. That's what the motion is. Now, but we got to vote on the motion first. Who's in favor of ending the discussion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
People who want to continue the discussion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We're going to have to do a roll call on that.
Benil,
Let's see, suspend would be, I vote no.
You want to keep talking?
Yes.
Gauntz,
No.
Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Lowry. No. Marion,
No.
Neal,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Trigg,
Yes.
Witcher.
I've got 5 to suspend and 4 to not suspend. Is that what you've got, Mona?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the suspension is in place. We'll stop talking about it. Okay? So now that we have the suspension stopped, we still have a motion on the floor to approve or to not approve the interlocal agreement from the City of Glasgow's perspective. So we got to the point of a discussion by having a motion and a second. So what we have on the table now is the need to vote in favor of or not in favor of accepting the agreement. So all of those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All of those opposed indicate by saying aye. Okay, so we unanimously approve the 911 agreement with all of the discussion that we had. And it would probably be best to look over the minutes because we discussed a whole lot of things here in a real short period of time. And so when Mona gets the minutes done and available to you, let's check that out so we make sure we know where we left off, okay? We've got another resolution, or actually a municipal order right here on the Code of Ordinances.
This last item on the agenda is a municipal order enacting and adopting supplement 2024 S59 to the Code of Ordinances. Whereas American Legal Publishing Corporation of Cincinnati, Ohio has completed the 2024 S59 supplement to the Code of Ordinances of Glasgow which supplement contains all ordinances of general nature enacted since the prior supplement to the Code of Ordinances. Whereas American Legal Publishing Corporation has recommended the revision or addition of certain sections to the code which are based on or make references to sections of the Kentucky Revised Statutes. And whereas the Glasgow City Council intends to accept these updated sections in accordance with the changes of the law of the Commonwealth, now therefore the City of Glasgow does hereby order that the 2024 S59 supplement to the Code of Ordinances as submitted by American Legal Publishing Corporation and as attached as Exhibit A is hereby adopted by reference as if specifically set out in its entirety.
All right, you've heard the reading of this municipal order. I would entertain a motion that we approve it.
Motion, Lowry.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is that Marion? Okay, all right. Is there any discussion on this particular order? If there being none, I'll indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The municipal order is approved. And in your packet, you have some notifications of some pending list of appointments. We have several members of committees whose terms are going to expire, and this will be the first, actually this is just your information, and we will deal with this the next council meeting. Okay? We can put it on the agenda, yes, we can. We can. That'll be no trouble whatsoever. Also, I just want to bring up the fact that one of the most exciting times around here is the Veterans Day celebration, and we won't be meeting again before Veterans Day, but I do want you to know that the Veterans Day dinner is going to be on the 9th of November. That's a Saturday at the National Guard Armory. Tickets are $10. Veterans, though, get in free, honoring all who served. And then the Veterans Day Parade is going to be on Monday, November the 11th at 12 noon right here in downtown Glasgow. And on the topic of veterans, we have 17 new honorees who are going to be honored on the flagpoles around the city of Glasgow. So be watching as we approach Veterans Day for the flags to go up that honor veterans Claude Steen, Angela Kiraquino, John Vaughn, Philip Geralds, Darrell Pickett, William Bowles, Kenneth Pace, Thomas Wells, William Rich, Darrell Beam, John Evergreen, Carl Eaton, Richard Wilson, Lois Howard Gray, Herbert Mattingly, James Norris Gray, and Douglas Marr. 17 veterans who will be honored on the flagpoles around the city downtown. And one more thing on Veterans Day, the City Hall will be closed November the 11th in observance of Veterans Day. Department of Public Works, Street Sanitation, Transit, and Landfill are closed as well. Let me just tell you about a couple of more things that are coming up right here, including on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. The young professionals of Barron County holding a town hall meeting for candidates for the city council. It's going to be out at WKU Glasgow. They got a room out there on the first floor for that. Trick-or-treating, I thought we've tricked-or-treated out, but we still got a ways to go. We have Thursday, October the 31st, is actually going to be Halloween. Trick-or-treating will be allowed in the city between the hours of 4:30 p.m. and then 7 p.m. on Thursday night. How's that recycling going? Well, on Saturday, November the 2nd, you can come out to the landfill between 8 and 11:30 and bring your recycling. 7 o'clock on Saturday, November the 2nd. Also, the Plaza is presenting Music Through the Decade. You can see the box office for ticket availability. This is going to be wonderful. It's part of the Bobby Driver celebration series there as well. Let's see. Mona puts on here that daylight savings time is going to begin November the 2nd at 2 a.m. You don't want to miss that. Leaf collection begins November the 4th with Zone 3. The zone's available on our city website. It's a really good graphic that shows where the different leaf pickups are going to happen during the different days of the week. Election Day is going to be on Tuesday, November the 5th. And let's see, we're going to be moving the next council meeting, since it is on Veterans Day, to the day after Veterans Day, which is going to be November the 12th. Special call meeting at 6 p.m. There's a lot going on. What else? April Russell is standing up, which means, as always, I have forgotten something.
Light up Glasgow.
The transit is running on an abbreviated schedule for Veterans Day.
Okay, all right,
So they're not closed, it's just abbreviated, and we have that on our website.
okay, all right,
Also, November 23rd is Light Up Glasgow.
okay, all right. You
And
want to
then
say,
that comes along with the Downtown Business Association event that happens during the day, then Light Up Glasgow, and then there'll be a movie afterwards.
okay, all right. And it's always a big time.
It is.
Joe?
And Mayor, I wish Kevin hadn't left. I wish we could have brought up the fact that the state announced the
I have it.
medical marijuana.
She's got the information.
I do have that. He left it with me. He had to leave to go get a child. There will be one processor in Barron County, and there will be one cultivator in Barron County. We will not know until all those fees are paid, and then they will let us know the location of that. The companies are online. I could read them to you, but I can't pronounce them. It looks like they are more just acronyms than anything. They have not drawn for dispensaries yet.
All right. So we'll be, go ahead, Max.
When is the dispensary drawing? This week, right?
Thursday.
Thank
you. Halloween. What a better day. That was not me. It was Joe.
All right. We have had lots of business to take care of. If there's nothing else on the agenda, then I would entertain a motion that we adjourn.
Motion, Kirkpatrick.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for your attendance and for your participation. We'll have a good evening.